How much does a perfect face really cost? For the people in this video, the price isn't just money, it's their entire lives. We're about to witness the razor-thin line between masterpiece and disaster, where dreams of transformation spiral into inescapable nightmares. Will these stories haunt you? Comment 1 if you're impressed by their boldness and pain tolerance. Comment 0 if you feel nostalgic for natural beauty. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel. And now, the cosmetic surgery files are officially open. Simon Cowell offers a rare perspective on the cosmetic pressures faced by men in Hollywood. He openly shares his journey using rejuvenation technologies to maintain his image. However, when the line between enhancement and altering facial structure blurred, Simon chose to confront it directly. He admitted his mistakes and decided to stop aesthetic treatments. Simon's case serves as a reminder: caring for your appearance is legitimate, but moderation and preserving your unique features are the keys to lasting beauty. Finally, we come to Anastasia Pokreschuk, the woman who claims to have the largest cheekbones in the world. Rather than using fillers to rejuvenate or soften her face, like most people, she used them to create sharp, exaggerated, and unrealistic features. From a medical perspective, injecting large amounts of material into the face always carries risks to blood vessels and soft tissue. However, from a social perspective, she exemplifies the right to bodily autonomy. Anastasia reminds us that beauty standards are ever-changing, and sometimes the satisfaction of the individual matters more than external judgment. Would you dare undergo 10 surgeries in just 24 hours? Heidi Montag did, and she calls it the biggest mistake of her life. Trading natural beauty for a perfectly artificial look under public pressure and the lure of free procedures, Heidi pushed her body into a state of extreme overload. The physical pain after the anesthesia wore off is something no glamorous magazine photo could ever capture. A costly lesson for young people: don't let flashy promises blind you to the real risks of excessive cosmetic surgery. The case of Allegra Cole offers an interesting perspective on the economics of cosmetic surgery. Rather than modifying herself to fit in, she altered herself to stand out. She pursued a hyperfemininity ideal where gender features are maximally exaggerated through medical intervention. From this viewpoint, her body became a primary marketing tool and surgery a lever to increase income and fame. Allegra is an example of a segment of modern society people who dare to challenge the limits of nature and social norms to optimize personal gain. Ethan Bramble offers a close-up look at the body modification trend. He openly undergoes invasive procedures, such as tongue shaping and scleral tattooing, to assert his identity. While Ethan sees this as an artistic statement from a medical perspective, these interventions carry potential long-term complications. Manipulating sensitive areas like the eyes or soft tissue structures not only causes pain, but also carries the risk of permanent functional loss. Ethan's story presents a lesson for young people: carefully weigh the short-term thrill of transformation against the lifelong health consequences. We often hear about the glamour of cosmetic surgery, but rarely do we confront its hidden corners. The case of Yulia Tarasevich is a vivid example of how complex the human body can be. From a healthy woman, she fell into a rare medical condition called lagophthalmos after an attempt to refresh her appearance. This story isn't about judging right or wrong, but about understanding that when it comes to nature and medicine, every procedure carries a degree of risk. Equip yourself with knowledge and think carefully before placing your trust in any form of change. Rewinding back to the 1970s, Lin May was a sensual icon of Mexican cinema. But when the spotlight demanded eternal beauty, she made a fateful decision. Her tragedy didn't come from a sterile operating room, but from a lack of knowledge and misplaced trust. She allowed an unlicensed individual to inject a liquid into her cheeks advertised as a beauty treatment, but in reality it was nothing more than baby oil. The human body is a perfectly tuned biological machine, and it reacts fiercely to foreign substances. The tissue beneath her skin began to inflame, reject the material, and permanently distort the structure of her face. Even though she underwent countless reconstructive surgeries to remove the foreign substance, the delicate features she once had were gone forever. Lin May's story is a painful lesson about never trusting miracle treatments from unqualified practitioners and about the absolute importance of verifying a doctor's credentials. The late singer Pete Burns, the soul of the band Dead or Alive, left behind not only a musical legacy but also a symbol of rebellion in physical expression. To him, the face wasn't something fixed, it was clay to be reshaped. Pete's journey began with a simple nose job, but quickly escalated into nearly 300 surgical procedures of all kinds. He viewed his body as a living work of art, despite his body's constant negative reactions. Infections, tissue necrosis, and overall health deterioration were the prices he paid for his passion for transformation. In 2016, Pete passed away from cardiac arrest. Controversial as he was, there's no denying that Pete Burns lived true to his philosophy until his very last breath. A life both dazzling and physically painful, it stands as a testament to his desire to break every mold set by nature. In 2009, Carol Bryan, then 47 years old, simply wanted a bit of rejuvenation for her face. But an unsuitable choice of dermal fillers led to a medical disaster. Doctors injected a mixture containing permanent silicone into her forehead and cheeks, an extremely risky technique. Over time, gravity and her body's reaction caused the silicone masses to shift and severely distort her face, resulting in what became known as asymmetric swelling. The consequences didn't stop at aesthetics. During a reconstructive surgery attempt in 2013, complications occurred that caused her to permanently lose vision in one eye. Carol once lived in seclusion, completely isolating herself from society because of the shame she felt about her appearance. But from the depths of despair, she rose again. Today, she has become an advocate, using her own painful story to educate the public about safety in cosmetic procedures, a truly admirable example of resilience. For Tara Jane McConaughey, the $85,000 she spent wasn't a surgical expense but an investment in a work of art on her own body. She pursues an unrealistic Barbie ideal, pushing her body to its absolute physical limits. From a medical and psychological perspective, this isn't just boldness, it reflects a distortion in body image perception, body dysmorphia. When passion turns into obsession, Tara is gambling her fundamental health for a beauty standard that medicine considers a dangerous wager. Have you ever heard of the woman who spent millions to look like a cat? That's Jocelyn Wildenstein, also known as the Bride of Wildenstein. This wasn't merely about beauty. It was a bold and costly facial overhaul. Through deep interventions in her soft tissue and eye structure, she traded natural softness for a sharp, unusual appearance. Her story is a vivid example of the thin line between self-improvement and complete transformation, a costly lesson about choices and the price paid for extreme appearance obsessions. If Pete Burns wanted to become a work of art, Dennis Avner, also known as Stalking Cat, wanted to transcend the human form entirely. Deeply influenced by Native American culture, Dennis believed his spirit belonged to the tiger. To realize this spiritual belief, he underwent extreme body modifications, unlike anything before, splitting his upper lip, sharpening his teeth, implanting silicone under his skin to shape a feline face, and even attaching a mechanical tail. The Guinness World Records recognized him as the person who underwent the most body modifications to resemble an animal. This isn't merely about aesthetics, it's about morphological freedom. However, the price for such difference was social isolation and hidden suffering. Dennis's story reminds us of the diversity of human perception, but also warns of the psychological shadows that emerge when someone rejects their natural human identity. This is perhaps the most shocking cautionary tale about the underground cosmetic market. April Michelle Brown, seeking a quick and affordable body enhancement, turned to an unlicensed practitioner. The tragedy struck when the substance injected into her body wasn't medical-grade silicone, but industrial silicone, the kind used for bathtubs and tiles. Once inside her body, the toxic material triggered a severe rejection reaction and systemic sepsis. To save her life, doctors were forced to make a painful decision: amputate her limbs. From a healthy woman, April had to relearn how to live with a severely altered body. But instead of giving in, she courageously stood up to share her mistake to save others. Her message is clear: never gamble your life on cheap, unverified beauty treatments. Barbara Eden represents a philosophy completely opposite to today's perfection obsession, the school of respecting nature. Rather than altering her facial structure to cling to youth, she chooses to care for her body from the inside out. Her appearance at recent events is a silent statement. Aging is not frightening. What's truly frightening is losing yourself to artificial standards. Barbara Eden teaches us that a woman's elegance lies in how she embraces time, not in how she denies it. Monique Allen once saw cosmetic procedures as a salvation for her soul, but in the end, they became a burden on her body. Her tragedy wasn't in wanting to look better, but in making the wrong choices by trusting cheap, unregulated treatments. Injecting a large amount of incompatible substances triggered her body's natural defense mechanisms, leading to chronic health deterioration. Monique's story isn't meant to judge, it's a warning. Medical safety must always be the top priority above any beauty standard. The disconnect between soul and body once haunted Armand in his youth, but it became the driving force behind Amanda Lepore. She doesn't see surgery as fixing herself. She views it as a process of realizing her dream. With enormous costs and bold body modifications, including rumored rib reduction, Amanda has created an iconic beauty that blurs the line between a real person and pop art. And what about you? What's your take on Monique's case? If you found this content interesting and helpful, comment 2. If not, comment 5. Your opinion matters to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with new videos every day. Martina Big presents one of the most unusual and controversial stories in today's records. In addition to large-scale surgical interventions on soft tissue to alter her figure, she also modified her body's pigmentation system. By self-determining her racial identity, she sparked a complex dialogue about bodily autonomy and cultural respect. Despite mixed public opinions, the fact remains that Martina used science to rewrite the biological script of her life. This case reminds us that in the modern world, the concept of personal identity is becoming more fluid and unpredictable than ever. The case of Celso Santibanez is a striking example of the complex relationship between cosmetic interventions and overall health. While the primary cause of his passing was a malignant hematologic disease, medical experts highlighted a significant risk factor: the body's reaction to filler substances hydrogel. When the body is already battling an underlying illness, dealing with inflammation caused by foreign materials becomes an excessive burden on the immune system. The lesson from his story is clear. Before deciding to introduce any substance into your body, make sure your health foundation is strong enough to handle it. Behind Tara Reid's radiant smile lies the pain of a professional accident in cosmetic procedures. Efforts to refine her figure left permanent marks on her skin, a medical condition that's difficult to fully reverse. But the deeper wound is emotional, as society and industry turned away simply because she no longer met the flawless standard. Her story reminds us of the harshness of industrial beauty standards and the importance of showing compassion to those who have been harmed by surgery. Donatella Versace is a prime example of the complex relationship between women and aging in the luxury industry. Features like taut skin and altered lip structure are typical signs of using cosmetic medical advancements to maintain her image. Her story raises a significant societal question. When appearance becomes part of the job, the line between self-care and self-transformation becomes blurred. She isn't trying to defy nature. She's striving to meet the harsh expectations the public places on a global fashion icon. Laura Avila is a case study highlighting the hidden risks of the cheap medical tourism trend. She passed away due to complications related to airway management and anesthesia, a step often overlooked by patients compared to the surgical results. In facilities lacking safety standards, handling emergencies like oxygen deprivation is frequently inadequate. Laura's tragedy serves as a stark reminder: choosing a fully licensed hospital with proper emergency care capabilities is far more important than any financial savings. Never compromise on life-saving standards. Tiffany Taylor is a typical psychological case of using cosmetic surgery as a defense mechanism against emotional pain. Wanting to erase her past after a divorce, she invested heavily to replicate Ivanka Trump's facial features. However, her journey hit an ethical wall when experts noted that she was seeking emotional salvation through surgery, an unrealistic expectation. This story reminds us, before deciding to alter your appearance, make sure your mind and soul are truly stable. Don't use surgery to escape from yourself. Would you dare sacrifice your bone structure to look like a cartoon character Pixie Fox did? The North Carolina native underwent one of the most controversial medical procedures in the world, removing 6 ribs to reduce her rib cage to the smallest possible size. She even risked changing the color of her eyes through implants that haven't been widely verified for safety. Despite being turned down by many doctors, Pixie remained steadfast in her path. Her story makes us reflect: is there any limit to the desire to transform oneself? Janice Dickinson doesn't hesitate to admit that she lives for cosmetic surgery. From facelifts and liposuction to lifts of all kinds, Janice has tried it all. But the flip side of this glamour is financial exhaustion. In 2013, she declared bankruptcy due to massive debts from beauty bills. Janice's story is the clearest proof that being addicted to cosmetic surgery can be as dangerous as any other addiction. When mental resilience is lacking and finances are out of control, the desire for beauty can turn into a black hole that devours both a star's career and life. Dear viewers, the human body is a sacred temple, but also the strongest expression of personal identity. From heartbreaking tragedies to controversial life choices, it can be a miracle, but it can also be a curse if we lack awareness and limits. Love yourself before deciding to change yourself. What do you think about these transformation journeys? Where should we draw the line for beauty? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue following us in upcoming documentary profiles. Goodbye, and see you next time.